This week I've got The House with a Clock in Its Walls, and I went to this movie with one goal and one goal alone, and that was to discover why Academy Award winner Cate Blanchett agreed to be in this film. Like, Jack Black, totally get it. It's kind of Goosebumps-esque. It fits in his vibe. I'm sure, helps pays for whatever. But Cate Blanchett can be whatever role she wants to. Why this movie? I guess it was based on a book that I have never read or heard of, but, maybe it was like, oh, she had an affinity for that. Maybe it was secretly a really great film, which, spoiler alert, it's not that great. It's fine, but it's not that great. I unfortunately left the film without an answer to that question. I probably left the film with more questions to ask. The second of which being, aside from why is Cate Blanchett in this, who picked Eli Roth to direct this? Because, he's pretty much known for his scary, murdery, etc. And this is a PG kids film. It's produced by Amblin, which is Steven Spielberg's company. So my guess is that they're trying to do, I don't know, an E.T.-esque thing. There were some moments that were a little intense. I'll first caveat that I don't like scary movies. You'll notice I very rarely review them. This isn't per se scary, but if you were a younger kid, you might get a little freaked out by some of the stuff. I also personally hate clowns and anything involving creepy old theme park stuff. I hate old baby dolls and all that stuff. And all these things appear in the movie. So I personally was freaked out by it, but it's because of personal hangups. And it's creepy. They acknowledge it's creepy. In fact, that's a running joke in it that it's creepy. Anyway, the premise is a kid played by Owen Vaccarao, who you will probably or maybe recognize from Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2. His parents died in an unfortunate accident. And so he has to move in with his uncle, Jack Black, who turns out to be a warlock. And Cate Blanchett plays his neighbor, who is a witch. Sure, why not? They live in a small neighborhood. It all takes place in the 50s, so very wholesome, etc. Owen's a little bit of a quirky kid. He goes to school and then gets mixed up in magic, and then chaos ensues. The idea is also that, to address what the house with the clock in its walls is that a previous warlock lived there and left a clock in the house, and it is constantly ticking. And Jack Black wants to find out why. As I say it, I acknowledge exactly how absurd it is. Other people of note in this film, I just have to call this out. One of the kids who's the main guy's schoolmate is played by a kid named Sunny Suljic, and I was like, I cannot figure out. I've seen this boy before. He kind of looks like a younger version of one of the kids from Stranger Things. It turns out he is actually in Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is a really, really good movie. I highly recommend seeing it, and he's also going to be in Mid-90s, which is Jonah Hill's new movie. So I would actually keep an eye on that kid. Again, his name's Sunny Suljic. He kind of plays the bully asshole, jerk little boy in it. Anyway, also, Kyle MacLachlan, more kind of spoilers. Who's going to see this movie? Seriously. Kyle MacLachlan plays the warlock or wizard or whatever you want to call it, who previously inhabited the house. And I love Kyle MacLachlan, 2 bits. I'm not sure why he did this movie, but I'm going to guess Twin Peaks money only lasts so far, as opposed to a Cate Blanchett who has Lord of the Rings money, which I'm sure is still raking in. Anyway, this movie, whatever. I guess if you have young kids and they like seeing scary movies, it's fine for them. As an adult, no, you're not going to go see this. You're not going to go see this movie at all. I don't know if the books were famous or exciting enough for an adult to want to go see this film, but it is not aimed at a grown-up audience. It is definitely for kids. There aren't a ton of jokes that are designed, there's no entendres, there's no extra layers to anything. It is very simple, straightforward. So, that being said, you have been warned. I, again, personally did not find it that exciting. I guess it moves along. There's a lot of plot holes, a lot of questions, but it's a movie about magic, so they kind of get out of that, which is kind of not fair. Low expectations. So I give it a 2 out of 5. I'm not trying to be super mean to it. It's just, unless you're a kid, you might bring up the rating, but not that interesting. 2 out of 5, House of Clock in Its Walls.